Every time things look dire for her, fans wonder, is Nikki leaving the young and the restless? But the iconic character has been through so much in her life and bounced back every time, so there's no reason to think the trend will continue. Nikki was first introduced in 1978, played by Erica Hope. In 1979, the role was recast with Melody Thomas Scott, who has portrayed the beleaguered heroine ever since. Introduced alongside her sister, Casey, Nikki Reed killed her abusive father, Nick, in self-defense after he drunkenly tried to rape her. During the trial, Nikki dated Paul Williams, but they split after he gave her a sexually transmitted disease. She then dated and married Greg Foster. Nikki was signed to a modeling agency that was really a prostitution ring. She left town and joined the New World Commune, which turned out to be a cult. Nikki eventually returned to Genoa City and became a stripper. She dated Kevin Bancroft, who left her when he believed she'd starred in a porno movie. Nikki's dreams finally came true when she became Mrs. Newman. Donaldson Collection / Michael Oakes Archives / Getty Images. While stripping, Nikki had a fling with Victor Newman and got pregnant with his child. After she gave birth to Victoria Newman, Victor left Lori Brooks, and Nikki and Victor were married in 1984. Things were going fine until he had an affair with Ashley Abbott, and Nikki found herself drawn to Jack Abbott. Nikki schemed to split the pair up, but Victor ended up leaving Ashley himself when he learned she'd aborted his child. Nikki gave birth to another of Victor's children, Nicholas Newman, but he dumped her believing she'd been involved in writing a tell-all biography about him. After learning Leanna Love had written the book, Victor tried to win Nikki back, but she and Jack married out of spite. But their marriage was troubled, and after she miscarried his child in a riding accident, Nikki fell into a depression and became addicted to painkillers. She got pregnant again, but this time the baby was stillborn, and Jack and Nikki ended their marriage. She was devastated to believe Victor had died and surprised when he returned to town with Hope Adams on his arm. Nikki had gotten engaged to Brad Carlton in the meantime, but when Victor was shot on their wedding day, Nikki left Brad at the altar to be with him. Victor chose to be with Hope, so Nikki married her doctor, Joshua Landers, but he was killed by his ex-wife, Veronica, who also shot Nikki. Although he'd married Diane Jenkins, Victor divorced her so he could remarry Nikki on her deathbed. Obviously, Nikki recovered, and they learned their marriage was invalid. Eventually, Victor was able to divorce Diane and remarry Nikki properly. Victor was always coming between Nikki and Jack. Erin Montgomery / JPaStudios.com. Following her kidnapping, Nikki suffered PTSD and began an affair with Bobby Marcino. She also ran against Jack for Wisconsin State Senate, but her affair with campaign manager David Chow not only cost her the seat but also her marriage. Nikki briefly took over as CEO of Jabot and married David, only to find out he wasn't who he claimed to be. He and Victor's wife, Sabrina, were killed in a car accident, and Nikki got involved with Paul again. They were nearly married, but she broke things off and left town with Victor after he recovered from the heart transplant he received after being shot by Patty Williams. Nikki returned engaged to Victor, and Maggie McLean and Deacon Sharp schemed to knock her off the wagon. Believing Maggie and Victor were married, Nikki had an affair with Deacon, but she dumped him when she learned he was the reason she'd started drinking again. She wanted to get back with Victor, but he'd returned to Diane, so Nikki fell into the bottle and eventually went back to rehab. Victor was jailed for Diane's murder, so Nikki came home to help and remembered that she had been the one to kill her. But the full truth was that it had been in self-defense and that Deacon was actually the one who had finished the job. Nikki then found herself back with Jack, and they eventually remarried. That same day, Victor married Sharon Newman and then disappeared. Nikki went searching for him, so Jack realized where her heart truly lay and they divorced. When Victor returned, he and Nikki reunited, but their marriage was delayed when she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Nikki and Paul unexpectedly found themselves parents. Sean Smith/JapaStudios.com finally remarried to Victor. Nikki was shocked to learn that Dylan McAvoy was the long-lost son she'd given birth to during her days with the New World Commune. Although she initially feared cult leader Ian Ward was the baby daddy, it turned out Dylan's father was actually Paul. Nikki began drinking again and accidentally hit Christine with her car, causing her to lose her baby. Nikki and Victor's marriage was strained by various family dramas, and Nick was shocked to discover his mother was having an affair with Arturo Rosales, even more so to learn that Nikki and Victor had decided to try having an open marriage. Eventually, Nikki and Victor decided to commit to each other again, but their happiness was short-lived as their daughter, Victoria, was being abused by ex-husband, JT. Hellstrom, JT, attacked Victor, landing him in the hospital, and when he tried to hurt Victoria, Nikki hit him over the head with a fireplace poker. Nikki, Victoria, Sharon, and Phyllis tried to cover up their crime and dispose of the body, but evidence was discovered that turned the missing persons case into a murder investigation. The pressure of hiding their crime and being blackmailed for it by Tessa Porter pushed Nikki over the edge, and she began drinking again. After the Jabot holiday party, she stumbled out into the snowstorm and was hit by a car driven by Reed. Thankfully, she pulled through and was overjoyed when Victor returned to care for her. Unfortunately, her husband got arrested for JT's murder, and Nikki tried to save him by confessing to the crime herself. She was put on trial alongside Sharon and Victoria. Phyllis struck a deal with Christine to turn over evidence in exchange for safety, and despite Michael's best efforts, Nikki was found guilty and sentenced to 30 years behind bars. Thankfully, JT turned out to be very much alive, and after Nikki and the other women were rescued from him, they were finally free. Nikki can play nice when the situation calls for it. Howard Wise/JapaStudios.com. Nikki is often the backbone of the Newman family, helping keep them going through tough times, like when Victoria was stabbed and suffered severe emotional distress. He even extended an olive branch to longtime rival Sharon to help support her as she battled breast cancer. Nikki accepted Victoria's offer to become Newman's COO, and Victor warned she would eventually have to pick a side. When Nikki overheard Billy plotting against Adam with Victoria, she urged Lily to stop Billy from taking revenge. She also stepped in at Sharon's request to talk to Faith Newman about her drinking. She also reluctantly supported Victoria's decision to merge companies with Ashland Locke and also marry the guy. And when she later expressed her suspicions of Ashland's motives, Victoria shut her mother down. But when it was revealed that Ashland had faked having cancer to manipulate Victoria and get his hands on Newman, Nikki and the rest of the family rallied to support Victoria and drive Ashland out. Stay tuned to Y&R to see how her story continues. Ad block test. Why?